Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Ascension Diaries YouTube channel. I have a beautiful guest on today. We have a lot to discuss. I have met her through a friend of mine, Jim. Shout out to Jim. And she seems to have been aware and conscious and lucid of this heightened consciousness experience. She's been very observant. I've looked into some like her backstory. She has her own channel. She has her own website at soulsempower.com. This is Leslie Luminare. And I'm so excited to have you on because we need more stories and perspectives of people who've been through a lot of this stuff and been aware of this whole other level of consciousness that some of us had to wake up to. But it seems like that you haven't been experiencing it your whole life. Is that correct? Like, how old were you when you really tuned into the fact that you were, you know, obviously more to this world than what meets the eye?
I remember a lot from the age of 3.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I was really early.
Yes, I was quite confused at a young age where I was because it wasn't what I remembered. It wasn't the society I remembered. I remember kind of looking forward to, going to preschool and meeting other souls, but yet I was just really surprised. I felt like maybe like a what is it?
Well, I can imagine, honestly, like I know I had similar experiences as a child where you're looking around, you're like, this doesn't make any sense. And the adults aren't looking at you and you're like, hello, like, aren't you supposed to know what you're doing? And I feel like
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about, but from the youngest age, I think I was tuning into that maybe a little later, but I very much empathize and sympathize with that experience.
Yeah, I almost felt like an adult in a kid's body. I just
Hmm.
felt really out of place. Everyone seemed chaotic, not very spiritually aligned. And then
Hmm.
later on, having to go to a Christian school, and I felt like they were teaching everything wrong, and just everyone would just believe it. They were kind of in this hypnosis mode all the time. I'd just be looking around like, what is going on here? And I had my own interpretation of the Bible, and now I see these things manifesting more and more as we kind of evolve. And that's, I have a lot of stories as well as some evidence I've been able to provide on camera.
Well, absolutely. That's why we're here. So if there's anything that you've been guided that you'd like to share with this audience about your personal Ascension Diaries entry, perhaps about whatever it is that's, illuminating you right now, whatever passion and message that you wish to share with us.
Okay. Well, I've been trying my best. Well, actually, I just feel like Spirit's been guiding me ever since I started my channel 2 years ago on 222 at 2:22 a.m. I woke up and I had this massive wave come down, like 3 waves of energy. And it gave me this terrible headache, like for 2
Oh.
seconds each. And like before that, everything outside was like windy and blowing. And then right after that happened, like everything was quiet still, and I just kept waiting. And I felt like something massive had happened. It was almost like entering a new dimension. I don't know how to explain what that actually was, but just something like Spirit was saying, "Okay, it's time." And a few hours later, I started my channel,
Oh,
and
wow.
then I kept having experiences I could show on camera, and I haven't even just. It's just been amazing. So, like soon after that, I realized my energy was just turning off all these street lights. I was able to measure it. It was always at 100 meters away. It would always go off. And I remembered, I was like, wait, this has happened my whole life. And because I used to run around a track as a kid. And, I went on to college to run track and field. But anyway, every time I would approach this light going around, it would turn off. And so I was able to, yeah. So
So
all
you're
these
able to
lights in my field,
specifically measure it because you're on a track.
yeah. And so when it started happening here, just all these lights was, I could measure the point on the ground in which I crossed that point, the light would go out. So
Wow.
I started realizing my energy field turns off these lights at 100 meters away. And, I did a video about that. And someone said, why don't you turn it on? I was like, okay. So while I was within this field of it being off, I beamed it with my hands, and after a couple seconds, it would turn on. Like, whoa, okay. So my field breaks the circuit and my hands repaired the circuit. And after a few seconds of not sending the energy, then it'll turn back off until I leave that area. Then it'll turn back on. So it's just really neat to see how our energy interacts with the lights in that way.
So you're saying that with your hands, you were able to like, was it more of a consciousness thing where you're directing your like turn on, or was it just something you were doing with your hands to maybe manipulate your own field?
Yeah, my hands energy. So I'm a healer, and so
Mm.
I send, I work on people remotely. There's just a lot of energy coming out of my hands and my body, but it's two like opposite fields. Neither one
Okay.
of them is negative, but yeah, opposite types of energy. So I just beamed it with that energy, and I even blew out my electricity in my house trying it one time. I had
Oh
to have an
my
electrician.
gosh.
Yeah, I had to have an electrician come out, and that was right before an interviewer came, and it took them like days to fix the whole thing. They replaced the fixture, and so I haven't done it indoors since.
Because you're like, that was expensive. That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
And before I started my channel, my friends and I, we used to gather every night and for like 3 years and watch UFOs every night. And we'd see 5 or 10 every night.
Like outside, you just go outside. Like, where would you guys go?
Just a nearby park. We'd be or just walking around the neighborhood, and we'd see.
Really?
So yeah. And so after a few years, I kind of went into when I was called to do my channel, I stopped really hanging out there, started recording them and posting them on my channel. And I even have a video of my favorite top 6 recorded sightings, which was, posted a year before NASA finally came out and stopped my feed, you know.
Way
So
before.
yeah.
The
We've
secret
all
was out.
yeah, I think a lot like we've been seeing them for decades. I mean humanity, and they've been hiding it, they can't hide it anymore.
So do you still see them regularly when you go outside?
This last year I haven't been as like last year was kind of different for me. I was
Okay.
seeing them every day, and I just kind of took a break on it, a break on my site, a break. On my channel and everything. So I haven't really been as last year. I wasn't as into it, but I'll like if I go out and ask, they'll like instantly show up. But it's like I
Wow.
just haven't been communicating with them as much lately because you kind of used to it, and you're just like. But yeah, I'll ask them questions. I'm like almost like divination, but like okay, if I'll ask them something, and then bam, they'll show up like it's confirmation. Like I've seen ones that look almost like fireworks, and
Okay.
then yeah, friend and I we had one that was sending us energy, and it was like this pure love. It was
Oh,
amazing.
that's
Yeah,
so awesome.
we were just watching it. It was like this star moving. It looked like but it was really close. At first we thought it was a star. I said, the star's staring at us. And then it started moving slowly. And it was so beautiful and so bright. And it was sending us this love energy. We're both like buzzing off of it. And like, thank you. And it was there for 10 or 15 minutes, just gliding along.
Well, I'm surprised that you've also, well, I mean, I'm not really surprised, but the fact that you've able to gather people around you, like friends who are also okay, or at least seem to have some sort of contract or ability to also interact with these craft or beings or whoever's visiting you. I think that's really interesting. Do any of your closer friends also have the sort of lucidity or like any similar experiences to you?
Uh, yeah, the group I was hanging out with then, I had a psychic friend and then 2 others. They all saw them.
Wow.
And when I would try to show other light workers, they had blocks to it, or I'd have to kind of work with them for a while. Some would see them, and some others. It just depended on how much I could, work with them on it, how much they believed and felt that they could actually see them.
Interesting. So how would you work with them? Is it a more kind of a psychological thing or is it a energetic thing?
It just depends. Like this one person, um, we were on a walk and I was trying to show them, and I was seeing one as they were tying their shoe. And I just kind of froze and was watching it. And it was, right when they stood up, it changed to flashing like an airplane. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's you.
Okay.
I swear that's a UFO right there. And it knows when they're ready. So they won't scare, they just have to wait for that person to shift their consciousness. And what happened was ended up having a really lucid dream. It felt so real that we were in a craft together, and there was a human driver or director, whatever you want to call it. Like he was directing with his mind. And I just was telling him the dream, and right as I was telling him the dream, I think he had that shit because one showed up right in front of him, right in front of us.
What?
Yeah. So he started seeing him after that, and we saw some others. He was just like, he was blown away, and he came from a religious background even.
Oh, wow. So big shift.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to back you up because you mentioned the craft and then it turned into what it looked like an airplane.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've personally experienced this, but I thought I was like, I obviously you have your doubts because I've personally also seen craft and have been visited in that sort of sense. Like, not, I haven't had anything too abrasive, but I've seen craft. I've interacted with them before, and I had a friend, and I was like, "Look, there's literally one right there. I'm looking at it," and he's like, and he physically couldn't even turn and look his head and direct his eyes at the thing. It's like something inside of them just isn't ready to even look. And I totally I totally know what you're talking about with that. But when he actually did, it turned and then like started blinking and like looking like a plane. And I was just like,
Yeah.
I was so mad. So I was like, maybe I'm losing it. Maybe this is really a plane. Maybe it's a helicopter or something. But what is do you have any more detail about that like type of phenomena? Like, what is it? Why do they do that?
I guess just because people aren't ready yet.
Yeah.
I was out at a kind of a park one day, and it was sunset, and one came really close. It had its light on. It kind of looked like a ball of light. But it turned off the light, and that's when I could see the gray flying saucer shape.
What?
It was so neat to watch.
That is so cool.
Yeah, usually it just looks like a ball of light. And every time I have an amazing, like a really incredible sighting, I swear my phone's like in my car. I'm scared.
Oh my God. That is so true.
Yeah, the best sightings, I think they know you don't have a device or something. They get closer, and I'm just so happy and thankful they let me record the times that they have let me and post that online. And and eventually it dissolved, like it just dematerialized.
Interesting.
In appearance, yeah. But it just let me watch it for like 10 minutes.
I remember I had this one where it was showing up, and then I was like, okay, and I stayed in eye contact with it, and I was reaching in through my car window to like grab my phone. As soon as I grabbed my phone, it left, and I was like, damn it.
Yeah, that actually has happened to me a lot too.
I'm glad because I was like, okay, this has to be something, because as soon as I touched my phone, it went away, and I was like, okay, it was a validation in itself too, because I was like, okay, it knows I touched my phone. It's a real thing.
Yeah, I've like one is zoomed by and I like dropped my phone. I'm like, why did I drop my phone? Or another time I thought I was recording. It was so close and so amazing. I was looking at the screen like, this is a great shot. And then I looked right when it was gone. I pressed what I thought was the ending of the recording button. And it happened to just press record. I'm like, no, I thought I had the whole thing caught. So I don't know, if they had anything to do with that.
Man, tricky. I know. I feel like they're just messing with us.
Yeah. Sometimes. One of my best sightings, a friend and I, we were just on a walk, and there's this humongous fireball. It was like a mini sun. It was huge.
Wow.
And we're watching it, and this guy comes up behind us, and we're like, does he not see this thing? And then he turns left and just leaves. And we're looking at each other like, how did he not see that? It was huge. And then after it goes away, he comes back to us and says, did you guys see that? What was that? I think that was the rocket. The rocket just took off. It was, he came with like all these conclusions. Oh, it must have been the sun reflected off a satellite and beaming. And, he was freaking out. But we were just surprised that he could even see it, because they don't seem to show up for like the Muggle type, or, like those who
Interesting.
Air. So we were kind of suspicious, like, who is this guy?
Oh, interesting.
Was trying to cover it up, or maybe he was just a regular guy. But it was weird that he walked away and then came back and said that. But,
yeah, that is weird.
Yeah, I was like,
Where is it?
see them every day.
Whereabouts were you? Like when you've seen all these sightings, or do you live near like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a portal, or you know what I'm talking about? Like these specific areas that have more activity. Do you live near one of those, or is this just like everyday average
Yeah,
space?
yeah. A lot of people, I think people in town have seen them about the area where I live. So I think there is like a vortex. I feel like that's why I was drawn to just live where I live. And but I've also seen them in other locations. So
Right.
yeah. So it may just be that we're our own vortex in a way.
Yeah, this is very true. I was wondering that myself. It was like, is it the location, or is it you, or is it perhaps your friends, or but it's kind of all of the above.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad we covered that. I wanted to make sure I asked because people, I mean the audience that I have generally, I feel like they know what's going on for a lot of this stuff, but I want to make sure I have the questions out there for new people who are here on the channel and just watching for new, and being able to go and research more of your content and the stuff you've actually gathered on camera. Like, this is the kind of stuff I absolutely love. So I'm really glad that you persisted this and kept doing what you're doing. And I know you took a little break, but I'm really glad that you're still working on it.
Yeah, I'll probably get back into recording them. And one thing, when you raise your vibration, you'll see much
Hmm.
more often, as long as you're, consciously connecting with them. Yeah.
So what would your advice be for somebody who would like to have more sightings? Really, you said raising your vibration.
Yeah, and there's so many different ways you can do that. I do energy sessions, but I've also found that like fasting and high vibe diet and lifestyle meditation, just anything that raises your vibration.
Totally. I totally agree. What's your like go to, like your favorite thing when you're feeling a low vibe day? What do you go to?
I have so many different. I like to change it up all the time.
Fair
Just like
enough.
the way it feels, whatever idea comes to me at that time. Could be anything really.
Just the guidance. Do you find that you have a really good connection with your guidance system?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I hardly ever look up stuff anymore.
I know.
I don't really watch many videos or anything. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So it's what's sort of your process? You like have a question about something and then just like it seems to flow into your head?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, it barely feels like a question. Just yeah, it's just a constant flow.
Hmm. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I feel that too. It's hard though because there's a lot of people who have these same experiences, but we're so far apart, and you don't actually get to discuss this like
Hmm.
casually in a community setting. So I'm really glad that I'm getting the chance to do this more and often, and hopefully encourage more conversation about this. Let's see, what else do we want to cover? There's we're calling in UFOs, we have energy work, you're turning off lights with your hands. Is there anything you wanted to share about your fantastic life and what you're up to?
Yeah, I find that the more I raise vibration, I've had different animal experiences, like being able to pet a wild bird repeatedly. I've got that on camera on my
Oh
side.
man, that's so cool.
Yeah, it would roost by my door. I don't know if it was attracted to my energy or something, but it would just let me go up to and pet it any time. But I didn't want it to get used to that, because it's probably not a good idea. But it would let me. And another thing I caught on camera was this butterfly I took in because it was about to freeze out in the cold. It was like 30 degrees. I was like, "What's a butterfly doing out here?" And I brought
What?
it in. Yeah, I brought it in to warm up. And the first thing it did was fly to my heart and start going like it was going crazy on my heart. And I didn't know what was going on at first. It was there for like 5 minutes, just like this, like it was doing. I've never, usually the land on your like your fingernail polish is kind of, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent it to my friend, and they said it's feeling your heart energy. I was like, oh, because heart energy is so strong. That's part of our evolution that we're really, like I've been feeling you really strongly, and you really feel spirit come in, and we're really getting a strong attunement in our heart. And it's just incredible. It's just the most amazing thing. And I think that's what's also feeding me, because I do dry fasting. I did a 6-day dry fast without food or water. And I'll be, doing more of those, but I feel like it almost feeds you because it has a taste. and it's much. It tastes way better than food. And
I'm confused. What is giving this flavor you're talking about?
this, so there's this strong energy, and it's like heart telepathy. Like I feel you really strongly. Like the last as we've been interacting, like you have
Mm-hmm.
a very distinct flavor, even. And
That is so cool that you discuss it in that sort of way, that vibration as a flavor. I haven't heard that before. I'm really
yeah,
intrigued.
I'm surprised by it, but it's so strong. But yeah, it's amazing that we can connect in that way.
Mm-hmm.
As technology advances, I almost see a similar spiritual advancement that's similar to the technology, but way better because you can experience it way more than you can, those, one of those things where you can experience a
The
different reality.
blinders.
It's way better than that. Just feeling people, and I can almost see people sometimes, like when they write emails to me, I could just like I know what they're saying, and
Mm-hmm.
or when they're watching a video, like I just see through them somehow. I just receive a lot of information, but it's mostly in the feelings. It's not so much in the mind or the third eye. And yeah, there's a taste that secretes from my tongue when I'm connecting with people, and it kind of just comes up. And yeah, I only eat once every 36 hours. Like that's when I get hungry.
Right.
And I feel like maybe that's what's feeding me. And I had a very strong message before this call come in, and it kind of shook me. It's a little religious, but almost as if I felt the presence of Jesus. But anyway, the message was, despite that, that how I don't know if you have much religious background, but when I was in the religious school, I interpreted everything it was saying in a whole different way than what they were saying. And the message I got today was that the fall of man is being repaired. So we're literally going back to having, like, how they had to eat from the tree or they got tempted. We're not going to have to eat anymore.
Interesting.
And that's what I'm experiencing. I don't get hungry. And when I do eat, it kills that spiritual connection for a while. It's like it's just gone. And I feel lower in energy, lower in physical energy. It just cuts me off. And I feel the more we raise vibration, the more we're getting back to maybe what they were talking about in the Bible. I can't, say for sure. But anyway, it just like every time I read the Bible, I'm like, whoa. It's like you're just experiencing all these things. And I've even experienced just so many upgrades in my body as if all these abilities have lain dormant. Yeah, I just can't even, I just want to share it, even though sometimes it's embarrassing. But it's like, people got to know what we're missing.
I
What we've been
absolutely
missing.
agree.
It's just incredible, just the connections with people and just this heart connection.
I like how you have more experiences through your heart space, and the actual release of like where you can taste it in your mouth is very interesting to me. So I'm just going to nitpick a little bit just out of there because I'm curious, like scientifically, just to discuss it with when you're having an experience and you're connecting with someone's heart and you have this sort of, I want to say almost like a secondary like perception through your taste. Have you ever experienced like sour tastes or things that were more negative when you connected with someone, or is that doesn't happen because it's not a heart connection?
Yeah, occasionally I'll feel negative energy from people, and I don't know if I feel it in the heart. It's just like all over
Mm-hmm.
me. I don't taste them though usually, but
Okay.
I can feel it. I can feel when people, and usually it's when they're going more from the mind, like they might misunderstand something about me and get angry or something.
Yeah.
I've, yeah, like they'll have. It's usually almost always someone with religious background, and they won't understand, and they might not feel me because I'll do stuff that's from the heart. But religion has said, "Oh, this is evil, this is bad." But when you raise vibration, you gain these abilities that are purely from the heart. But those who aren't as in tune with their heart yet, they go back to this old information that's false, and it's not right.
Well, isn't there
Yeah.
something about the like the nectar or something where it's like the nectar of of life, or where you actually are supposed to be able to feed yourself off of like the loop of exchange of energy or something. So maybe you actually are physically tasting some sort of manifestation of like a heart connection and like a higher vibration. So like you're actually feeding. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's what I think. That's probably why more and more I need less and less food.
Less and
When
less food.
longer periods of time without food, I'm like, whoa, I didn't eat for a few days, and I did that 6-day fast. On that last day, I was hiking, and every day I was hiking. I couldn't stop moving. I had so much energy. I'm about to do another one, a longer one, just to test it out again. I just never ran out of energy.
Wow. Are you going to document that somewhere where people can maybe join you?
Yeah, if they wanted. Yeah, I've wanted people. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to promote in a way that they hurt themselves.
Of course. Of
But I
course.
definitely have been thinking about coming up with some kind of system where people can work on that, because I originally had just done a religious fast, and then it really helped me to realize I was being fed off of this energy for a long period of time, and it's been almost a decade that I've just had trouble eating it. It just doesn't feel right. So yeah, when you spiritually awaken, you don't need as much food, and it's hard to get used to that. So it is good to fast and just train your mind and your body to only eat when you actually physically need it.
Instead of like just to eat when to eat.
Yeah, out of habit or gluttony.
This is true. And I know I've been guilty of it lately, which is ironic because I was having this last January, I made a major decision to like really shift into a higher vibrational diet and commit with it. And throughout the whole year, it was sort of a wave-like situation where I had appetite and I didn't have an appetite, and I was just flowing with it. And I lost a lot of weight, like off of my body. I felt like I was cleansing away a lot of the things that I had eaten through my life, and that sort of all that kind of left, and I was skin and bones. Honestly, my family was even worried for a bit. They were like, Alexis, you're not eating. I'm like, it's okay, like everything's gonna be fine, it'll come back around. And now it's ironic that you're noticing you're not eating very much, and just recently I've noticed that my body's switched again, and for some reason I'm intaking a lot more food. And so I was curious because I was like, oh, maybe I'll just be living off of, off of the vibration, off of your whatever it is that we're catching into the flow, and obviously that you've experienced. And it's good that we're talking about this, because I was like, I need to hear more about what this is about, because now I'm eating more and I'm like, okay, I'm taking on more, I'm lowering my vibration almost with all this food. But I feel like there's a reason, and everyone sort of has their cycle with this shift. So it's curious that you're weaning off of food right now, and I'm putting on, like, I'm adding more food to my diet, which is like I wasn't expecting to do. So darn it, I wish there was like some sort of correlation, so we were both like, oh, and this is the energies right now, we're all fasting now, but it's definitely different for everybody.
Well, I feel the season, we might interact with the seasons as well. So I'm a
Mm-hmm.
little bit further south, and as it gets warmer, that's when I don't feel the need
That's
to eat.
true.
Yeah. So that's the temperature change really made a big difference, and that's what's kind of calling me to do this, at this current time.
Well,
Whereas, winter I would eat, a little bit more than in the summer.
in the wintertime.
And it used to be the opposite. I would get so hungry in the summer and have low blood sugar so quickly and have like emotional eating. Fasting really helped me, get out of those childhood issues that I used to have. But just also as spiritual, raising the vibration helps you.
Right. Well, I mean, the logic's there for sure. When it's warmer, I guess I don't need to eat as much. I totally feel what you're talking about. And we were just like on beaches and stuff, and now we're back in the Northwest and it's freezing. And that's probably why, another reason why I'm eating more, because I'm like, I'm so cold.
Oh.
But yeah, that's awesome. And I'm excited that you had a message come through. I don't want to go away from that point that you made, because it's very important to me that all of these things that come in with unison with these interviews and these connections. So I appreciate you sharing that with everybody. I wanted to ask you more about that. Was this an experience you sort of just had in meditation, or how was this message relayed to you?
Yeah, we had kind of that delay, and
Mm-hmm.
almost maybe that was meant to be. I opened my YouTube, and this strange video was there. This lady was talking about um, her experience seeing hell, but then after that, it just freaked me out a little bit. But then, like, I just felt the presence of Jesus give this different message. Like, it had nothing to do with what she said, but it kind of opened me back to my Christian upbringing, which I kind of suppress sometimes because it was kind of horrifying for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel close, I felt close with Jesus, but not the way people taught that. So it's hard for me to just, I don't know. So maybe that just seen that video triggered that allowing of the presence of him or this message to come through, because I feel like what we're going through now is maybe it is written about in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, definitely I feel as we upgrade our to 12-strand DNA and activate all our abilities, almost as if it's what we once had, we've just really cut ourselves off from that.
Yeah, I completely agree with you for sure. And that's super exciting that there's a message about that, and like how we're upgrading and we're not even going to need to eat, and that's just so exciting.
Yeah.
And that it's happening. That was amazing. I'm truly humbled and honored to hear something like that coming out just for this interaction. Like, there
Yeah,
definitely was a
yeah.
pause, and I was like, I wonder what's happening. Like, I was having a moment. I was like, there must be something we're waiting for. And I'm so like, just validation for sure that you're like, oh yeah, I had this experience with Jesus basically.
And I usually don't, have those kinds of religious type experiences, but I don't know. Yeah, something opened that. I definitely have felt spirit guiding us through all of this, and
Yeah.
even I really felt it strongly last night. I barely slept. I just felt all these energies going on, and just kind of interacting with us. So
Well, it's very potent when two goddesses and come together to deliver some vibration. It's very important stuff we're doing, I guess.
yeah.
Who knows, really? I believe it. I believe it. So, really, what is it that you think that we need to finish this up with? Like, is there any message, anything you'd like to relay? Like, I know you're very tapped in and you do a lot of energy work. Is there something you'd like to share for this particular video before we wrap it up? And we'll probably be doing this again, because if there's any comments or anything, please leave them down below this video, and both of us will get to you for sure. This is part of our service. We are here to help lead and answer questions and be with you on this journey. So otherwise, is there anything you'd like to say about, yourself and this whole time that we're going through?
Well, I do help those who want to activate their own abilities. I share my experiences because I want to say this is what we're evolving to, and I hope to kind of speed up that process with my sessions, and the remote. So I work on people, and I feel the disease and the blockages in their body, and help to find what maybe the emotional barrier, trauma, clear that out energetically, and
Man, that is
activate.
so needed.
Yeah, and to activate these abilities. It's my testimonials are on my site. Just people have incredible experiences. They feel everything. They feel where I'm working. Often afterwards we'll connect, and we both picked up on the same things, and some of them see me in the room with them. This is remote, but they'll
Wow.
see me and they'll describe what I was wearing. And sometimes they'll see Pleiadians. Sometimes UFOs will come to them before and after the sessions. It's been really awesome. Some people will be shaking because the energy is so intense, or feel like they're rocking, and just have kind of angelic experiences. But it's very strong for most people. At least if they're sensitive. So I'm just here to assist and help raise vibration for others.
Well, thank you for coming in and coming onto this planet and doing your service for all of us. I really appreciate you.
Thank you. And
And
you too. Your energy, it's so high and strong. So you really, everyone you interact with is going to really benefit, not just, by it, but just because we're exchanging energy. And, you're a very powerful light worker. I just was really surprised how strong our energy is. So you definitely are sharing that with people as we watch each other, as we watch the videos, we're tuning into each other's energy.
I mean, thank you so much. Like, it's such an honor. Like, you're like, oh, I feel you in my heart and all this. And I'm just like, oh man, like, I hope it's good things.
Oh yeah, it's really, to be honest, I was almost like loopy off of it for a few days because it was so strong. And really, I think we need to remember as we're, with spirituality, some people, even myself, can just take it too seriously. Like, it's not, we're here to have fun and enjoy life. I felt like you really had that essence where it's just like you just bring a funness to it, just with your energy. Yeah, it really just kind of shook away some seriousness. And yeah, we're here to be honest, system bust, and just clear out the clutter and the confusion that's on the planet, and just bring in the light and joy and love, raise vibration, and ground all that in. And it's literally going to be like heaven on earth as we have incredible abilities. And
it's so true.
Yeah, I mean, we have systems of guidance working. We're activating those as systems of guidance, seeing the 222111, all of that. Yeah, we have so much assistance, so many things that we can't see that are helping us, and we're just going to be aware of that again.
And I feel like people are seeing that more now in their own lives. They're seeing more of this guidance, and it's the work that people like us do to discuss the types of guidance we've received, because it's a variety. You could have guidance in all types of ways, random, but they're all synchronistic. They all hit you. It's like, it's like a personal thing. Like, whenever it's meant for you, it'll hit you, and you'll, like, your heart or your body will react. You'll be like, oh, it's 111, and people will be like, whatever. And it's like, oh, but it hit you so hard, and you're like, okay, this one was for me. And like, I feel like people get discouraged sometimes when they're experiencing these things, but the people around them are not. But that's sort of the way the system works. And then you have to have more faith in these sort of messages we get. So you're saying, I'm agreeing with you and saying that these messages are coming in more and more for people.
Yeah.
And it's time, we have things to do. We have DNA to wake up. We have, stuff to talk about that's way more interesting. That's what on the whole mainstream thing. Like, this is way more interesting. I want to talk about orbs in the sky and sightings and divine experiences and lights turning on and off. Like, that's a classic one too. I like that one, and that you are able to measure it too. Like, that was just awesome.
There is a lot of cover up, and I had done a Alexa video. Someone had given me the device as a gift, but I just thought, what is this, a joke,
Right.
And I thought I'd do a video with it, and I knew the instant I plugged it in, something would happen. So besides Bluetooth frequencies just like hitting me and giving me a headache, less than 2 minutes after having it on, there was a black helicopter just hovering over my house.
Oh God.
It would not go away. And I've had a lot of experience with these, and I swear to God they have bilocation technology, because they'll show up out of nowhere. I mean, just right when I turned it on, and they wouldn't leave. And I never see helicopters in my town. It's like once a week it'll be a flyby far away. And the fact that it was just sitting there hovering, and I was like, why am I not recording this? After a few minutes, I went outside and recorded it, but it's when it was leaving, and that's on that video. And I've been every time I watch UFOs, it's like they'll just show up and spy on you sometimes. And they do want to suppress all of this, and they'll talk bad about religions that have some truth that can really help awaken all of this. And yeah, there's just a lot of suppression out there.
I mean, I definitely have experienced some similar things to that, but I also personally, like, I'm sure you've experienced, like, your guides are like, you're okay. you're okay, like it's okay. Have you
Oh
ever
yeah.
felt afraid of those copters? Because for me, it's like even if they do come around, I'm like I can push them away basically.
No, I think it's part of the light worker mentality. It's like I just feel like I remember so much from other lives, other times, and we're just here to system best, do the job. And
Hmm.
I've had so much confirmation in that. And when I did ask, I was like, wait, should I be afraid? Immediately, I got a message and some proof. And yeah, I don't want to go into it specifically, but
Okay.
I was just like, whoa, okay. And yeah, I mean, yeah, one thing I didn't say about that, as a kid, it's like I just was told, that's what I'm here to do. I saw things just random and chaotic, and I got the message, you're here to teach them. And I thought, how could I teach them if I'm the only one? I didn't think there were others until when I was 22. I saw n5d.com because I was just, had all these abilities
Hmm.
occurring. And I always knew, we're supposed to have these abilities. And then I saw that there were others. It just like changed my life. I was like, I am not the only one. Thank God, because I just wanted to leave my whole life. I was so depressed. Like I just massive depression, having just
Well,
knowing
it's
all this.
intimidating too, like isn't not like to be like, okay, I have all these abilities, like what am I supposed to do by myself? And then
Yeah,
it's the whole
because
community.
yeah, and part of it was because in history,
Yeah.
in spiritual history, they kill everyone who has an ability. And I was like, if I just come out and start trying to do anything, I'm obviously going to get killed. But then when, I don't know, something just shifted, and I've never maybe been afraid of that. I don't know. I still don't have that fear. I've done things I feel like I should have gotten stopped for or been in trouble for, but I'm just exposing the truth. I'm just living, sharing the truth. I'm not really doing anything wrong, but I don't.
Well, you're working authentically, right? Like you're just working and doing what you think you need to be doing. You're not lying about it.
Yeah. So
Definitely a big key for sure. The authenticity is a huge one. Like just it's so simple.
yeah, I think it's yeah, definitely in this 11 vibration. It really brings that out. I think just really staying in that joy, that love, expressing
Hmm.
our true self, and that's really key to raising the planet's vibration, raising our own. Just have fun, share your love to people. Might scare people. I don't know when you're just so loving and just so excited about it, but it
It's
kind of
true.
breaks people out of their shells. Yeah, like I'll just run around acting silly sometimes. I don't care.
It's true. It's like you just got to shock them almost into remembering
Yeah,
that you can have a good time. It's like, "Oh yeah, remember that? Like you can have fun in the
yeah,
grocery store." Like
yeah.
I agree. I agree. Just keep spreading that light for sure. That's the fun part. I like to say that we're on the 5D party cruise and we're just having a good time now. Just
Yeah.
spreading the joy. But
Eventually, there'll be enough that we can, hang out with people in our towns, or just like everyone's really gonna be aware. We'll just be having a like never,
right?
we'll just be having a fun time. I don't know. It's kind of sucks being alone, but then when you start connecting remotely with people, just feeling people, that's really exciting. And or
It feels
telepathy.
good.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a whole other experience. Like the first time I'm sure you contacted somebody who had the same sort of abilities that you did, or even understanding, like it's a whole, like it shifted me for sure, paradigm wise. I was just like, holy crap, people are way more powerful than I thought they were. And then then the search was almost to find somebody who was like more powerful than like the things that I was able to do. And so I was like, I need to know where I can grow into and see what I could accomplish myself and see what abilities are even possible. And it's almost addicting to be like, I want to be more psychic and I want to do this. And I tele like telekinesis, who knows? Like you move stuff with your mind. I've seen people do it. So
Yeah. And one thing, my advice with that is do the inner work. And that's
mm,
when the abilities are going to unfold. Like for me, I don't practice anything. I just do the inner work and work on my vibration. And then just stuff will reveal itself. So I don't spend an hour trying to move something every day. It kind of burns my energy out if I try that.
Oh yeah, I totally agree, because I feel that too. That was a major reason why I changed my diet so drastically, because I was like, well, logically, if you're gonna have, you got to change yourself first before you're even able to tap into these things, especially like your third eye, like clearing out your third eye, so you can have, that whole extra area of sensory ability that you never had contact to, because it's literally blocked with all the crap in our water and the things you've eaten and the vaccines and all that crap they've put in our bodies. But it's the inner work is like physical and then like spiritual too. So
Yeah. And people will resist. You might try to share it, and don't get discouraged when people start almost attacking you because you're like telling them things they've been programmed to believe the opposite about. But, just eventually you can kind of laugh at it. It's like, well, their time will come. They'll eventually see when they get enough of it. As society start talking about it more and more, because it can be
yeah,
frustrating.
it's true. It's that, like, the first few months or years that you start, I'm going to say months, because it really doesn't take that long. It's just like all of a sudden you realize that people just aren't ready and you're on your own path. And it's like, okay, well, you're seeing results. Like, you see results pretty
Yeah.
fast once you really invest and reach out to healers and things like that, like yourself, to get almost like it's like a booster, like pushes you a little closer, because like the whole exchange of energy with the hearts and everything, that's like a whole encyclopedia of stuff that you could download just from being in someone's 100-meter field like yours and things like that. So it's not hopeless, people. It's all good. Like, we're gonna be fine. But yeah, well, I guess I mean, great conversation. I really enjoyed talking to you, and I'm really glad we got to do this. I don't know if there's anything else we want to share before we finish up this video and, put it on the internet, and, make it a thing.
Let's see. One more thing I was realizing, that as we spiritually awaken, there are a lot of people who go through really severe trauma. It's almost as if to wake someone up, and it can be really difficult and life shaking, and you feel like, will I ever get back to that old life? Like, it was like everything you know and love and enjoy about life is just taken from you, and you have to start over from scratch. I just want to let everyone know, it's like a slingshot. The more you dip into that hell for a while, the higher you're going to go and just have all these amazing, incredible experiences in life. It just feels so amazing. So it's going to get better. If anyone's going through that stage, do the energy work, do the work, you're going to get out of it.
I think, and I've been noticing that, especially this last round, since we've gone through that last eclipse doorway, where it started in last summer and then just finished on February 15th. And I noticed a lot of people, at least on the Ascension Diaries Facebook page, were like, this is really hard. I've seen things about divorces. I've seen things about people losing their jobs. And it's like, it's so crazy to see how consistent this pattern is in people's lives, and like the shift that we have to do. You literally have to totally almost reset your life. But the energy is here to support that. And it's so fast that people, it's like it gets ripped away from you, but then instantly, like the next day, something comes in and it's like, and here's the replacement. It's like we're just getting switched out.
It gets so much easier because that's the process. You're removing all the stuff that's not good for you, and the good is coming in, and it just gets easier, and you're just like, okay. Whereas before, at first you might have a lot of resistance to it, but it gets easier and easier.
Well,
see what needs to be removed.
Yeah, it's true. And it's to me, it's so incredibly powerful to see that it's like a way to show you that you are being guided, and it's a way to train you to have faith in this whole process, because you're being forced You're literally being forced to take something out of your life that you weren't even ready to detach from yet. And it's like, bye, see you later. And you're like, holy crap, my entire plan for what I would trajectorying myself for just totally changed. And then it's like this void of you, like you're saying, like the further back you are drawn, the farther you shoot. It's like the crazier the void you end up in during these times. It's just almost exciting because you're like, there's got to be something big coming in because everything is gone. Like my whole plan for my life, because that happened to me. Like I was lucky that it happened when I was just freshly out of university. And like, you know, you go to university, you have a plan sort of about like, you're like, oh, I'll probably get a better job and whatever. You know, the plan is here, but then it's like, bye, everything just cuts out. And you're like, okay, start from square one, I guess.
That's when that shift happened for me too, right at the end
of college or whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
And I was so mad. I was like, this better be good. Like I just did this whole degree and I really didn't want to the whole time. Like the whole time I was talking to my guides, I'm like, come on, like this can't be what I'm doing. Like they're like, just relax, you're good, just learn what you need to learn. And you know, having a psychology degree really helped develop my skills, and this is what I'm doing with it now. But it's like I had no idea what was coming, and I was, you know, at least I had a connection then. For people who don't have as much of a connection, I can't even imagine what it's like to totally just like get reset like that. But yeah, so I agree, that's happening right now. I agree that it's going to be better. And, you know, both of us have gone through it, and look at us, we seem to be doing okay. Everybody has their mission that you can align with. The more you have faith and your guidance, right? Like you may even have visions or divine experiences, but these stories, they persist. And this is the same sort of pattern I've seen over and over. So I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think people need to hear it right now.
Everyone will have the ability, you know, the abilities they're meant to have. Don't aim for certain types. And just what
comes is yours.
Yeah.
I love it, because it's true. Like there's so many different abilities out there, and you know, we need everybody and every ability, not just the specific types. Even if it's just playing and having a good time, like spreading joy. It's a huge one.
Right. Yeah. You can't always see or have proof or have, you know, be a super accurate psychic or something. Just playing and holding that high vibration. That's really, really important.
Well, I mean, we've gone through the gamut for sure. I really enjoyed this conversation. This was fun. I think we'll wrap it up though. I think we're gonna see, and I guess we'll see where this goes. Like whatever, we've been both guided to do this video together, and we are here to support whatever result comes. And that's sort of the style that I like to keep flowing through. So thank you all very much for watching. Thank you again, Leslie, for coming on and spread your light. Yeah, you're welcome. I'm happy to have you. Anyone can come on and tell me how awesome you are. I love it. But yeah, just if you have a message of farewell for everyone, or to plug yourself or whatever you need, this is your time. Please take the floor, and then we'll say goodbye.
All right. Yeah, I just want everybody to just shine your light, you know, just be you and do your thing. We're all here to share our own gifts, so just be confident with that. Don't hold back. You know, it can be intimidating, but yeah, I just want everyone to just be really confident about sharing who they are.
I couldn't have said it better. Well, thank you so much, and spread love, everybody. We will talk to you very soon. Much love.